Welcome back to the castle. I'm Ivory Knight, and I'm here with Sh0ppo.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to have you here. Hope everything's fine with you.
Yeah, well, everything's fine with me as far as I'm concerned. We're excited. We got a new DevDiary to look at. The Merchants in Trading DevDiary. DevDiary number 11. So let's just get right into it. Sh0ppo, give us your quick summary.
Yeah, first of all, great head. I haven't seen it so far, but it looks nice.
Thank you. Yeah. So right before the stream, Sh0ppo didn't know what my hat looked like, but now he can see it.
That was a surprise. But actually, we should wear crowns, right? But we're like pretty down to earth, so that's all right.
Yeah, we're the down to earth kings, you know.
Yeah. All right. So let's dive into it. So I want to give you a quick summary of what's going on in the current DevDiary.
Give it to me.
Then we get into the discussion and the questions. So in general, as we all know, that's no biggie. Generally, merchants are for making money for our kingdom, but they can do quite a lot more things. They can boost gold and commerce when they govern a province, and they can do this still while sent on trading. However, if they are trading, they cannot simultaneously lead an army because trading is like a full-time job, they told us, and they cannot trade with multiple kingdoms. If they trade, they will bring their goods back to the province where they govern. And if they govern a province, there are caravans showing up on the map in the province.
Yeah, we can see in the picture right here. There's they point at one of the caravans. The caravans. Oh, yeah. I wonder if the size of them corresponds to, like, say, how much the caravan's worth. Because here you can kind of, I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like there's only one like cart and horse. Could be that the hand here is hiding it, but on the side over just to the right here, we see there's like 2 cart and horses. So that would be interesting. I mean, if you have a huge chain of, you know, caravans, maybe that's like a visual that, oh, look, it's worth a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I had the question: is it caravans trading, or is it maybe migration from the people moving around?
Oh yeah, it could just be local workers. Yeah. Hard to tell, but I don't know, because the picture to the left, I mean, clearly they're indicating this is a caravan, and it looks the same as what I see to the right and to the bottom here. Maybe they don't have a animation that's indicative specifically of caravans to separate them out from like local workers just yet. Yeah. I think they probably should when the game comes out for that.
By the way, Beldrath stepped in. Hi, Beldrath. Great to have you.
Thanks for coming.
There's no problem that you're late. It's great to have you around.
Okay, well, yeah, continue with the summary.
Sure. So the next part of information we got, what merchants can do is what with the caravans. So far, to make a little annotation here, it is not clear at the current point whether there are caravans if you are trading with another nation, maybe a nation far away, which could mean a lot of risk for a long caravan or a long route. And interesting is that better relations with a country improve the trade, and for sure you cannot trade with the enemy. You at least need peace and the trade agreement. And longer trading means increasing market share of the country that you are trading with, but you can switch at any time if you want to trade with another country, but it comes at a cost because it takes some time to set up this relationship, to improve it. So that's for us.
I think they did mention there's a small hit to your relation when you do break agreement. So
right.
It seems like that. Based on that, it sounds like just a direct relationship that, like, the more your trade relation is with a country, you get some kind of flat profit that's tied to that. And then when you cancel your trade relation, your relations drop, and then you lose that kind of additional profit if you were to trade back with them or something.
You for sure have to think about doing it. And it has to be worth it.
Yeah.
Making more money and whatever. Yeah.
Hopefully there's a way to see what kind of cost and benefit you can get by canceling a trade. Like, it'd be unfortunate if the only way you can see if you can trade with somebody and get more money is you have to break the current relation. Because I remember that in Knights of Honor 1, when you have, like, say, a full royal court, the only way to see if you can make more money if all your merchants were trading is to cancel a trade agreement. And then you cancel trade agreement. So I hope that they don't design it so similar to Knights of Honor 1. I think it'd be nice to have a kind of a ledger that shows you where to make some more money. I think there was somewhat of a ledger in Knights of Honor 1, but it was hidden. So you'd have to, like, go search for it. It wasn't clear that destroying your merchant would, or trying to switch your merchant over to a new country would maybe make more money.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested in how they will work it out, but I think they're gonna make some adjustments to that, so you can see it. And to get back to the summary, so we can continue the discussion. We got two very interesting points. Short annotation. It is also possible to trade goods, not only money.
Yep.
Especially food is very important, they mentioned, and now the interesting part starts. So there is something called kingdom commerce. So what's that? Basically, it's like a parameter or an upkeep parameter you gain by traditions, buildings, specific settlements or villages, or maybe through governors, talented ones. And it allows you to invest further into the future and tells you how much trade is possible within your kingdom. If you go over it, you get some penalties. And if you are below it, you are, like, not using it very efficiently. That's what it says. And you kind of have to manage it like a resource.
Yeah, it's very much, I was just going to add that. It's very much like an additional resource, like gold, but it's not like gold. It's a bit different. It's how much kind of like how much abilities you can use with your merchants. Can you trade with a nation that's all the way across Europe? Well, then you need a high commerce to do that. If you want to trade with a nation just next to you, then that probably takes less commerce to make that trade agreement happen.
Yeah, and the other interesting news was something called opportunities for merchants, and this means that merchants will get random events which can be used to get more advantages. Basically,
they seem to, like, be really excited about that, and in the DevDiary itself, they kind of talk about it quite a little bit. And I don't know, it seems a bit lackluster to me, because it's just like, okay, you're adding events to your knights, and okay, cool. Like, I don't know, I kind of expected that in a weird way.
I don't know, so, when I read through the DevDiary, I kind of felt like I don't know what to really think about it, because if chance gets into it, I'm not too fond of it. And I was wondering if it gets too big of a part in the game. And luckily, during the dev stream, they cleared out that it's just some additional, like, on top, you know?
Yeah.
And the basis is very similar as we know it from Knights of Honor 1. And Beldrith, he's here. We're proud to have you here, actually. Thanks for the compliment. I was talking to him, and he was even more worried about how this will play out. That's what he told me. That's right, better, I think, as I remember it.
I totally agree to limiting how many, like, chance events happen in the game, because just myself, when I play something like Crusader Kings 3, I find, like, if a event happens and it's like a real critical event and it's just a chance thing, then I get the urge as, like, you know, a scummer person to scum save, and I want to load back an old file and hope for the dice to roll again so I get better odds, and that really sucks out a lot of the gameplay. And even though, like, it's almost like an addiction to me, like a bad addiction, like alcoholism. Like, I know it's bad for me, but yeah, you know, yet I'm still an alcoholic. So Very much, it's like scum saving is the exact same for me. It's like, I know I shouldn't scum save because it destroys the fun, but it's like, if I can scum save, then I'm probably going to. And I feel like the more chance events are in the game, the more likely I'm going to start some scum saving for stuff like this. So
Yeah.
I hope the events are kind of more organized so that it's not just like a... Like, they can occur, of course, happen kind of on chance, but I feel like it would be nice if the event has maybe like 1 to 2 or 3 options that are very different play styles. So, and not that these options either, I don't want them to be like, okay, there's one good option. I would prefer it to be like different options. Like, if I wanted to play defensively, this is the best option. If I wanted to play aggressively, this is the best option. If I want to get more gold, this is the best option. You know, something like that.
Like they brought up the example with that you can resell goods. The merchant buys something and instantly gets rid of it, sells it to another person in order to make some quick profits. Normally, it would be you either say yes, and there's the chance of 50%, 80%, I don't know, or you say no, I don't want to do it, which is that's like this gambling thing, right?
Yeah.
But what if they bring in, okay, I can say yes, or I can say no, the price is like this, and I know this is a good price, so I say, yeah, sure, buy it, but we're gonna keep it. Or you say, no, just don't do it. So you at least got 3 options.
It could be just like another event, say that like boosts the trade relations with that country you had the trade agreement with. So
yeah.
You know, it could be like boost relations or get a lump sum money right now. Something like this.
But maybe that's the point where it gets kind of paradoxy. It reminds me of the Paradox games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we have to see how this would work out in the game. But in general, I still want it to be the real Knights of Honor and not get too close to the Paradox games. It should be something very unique and this typical Knights of Honor thing. So I'm not sure about this actually. I'm still skeptical.
So are we done with the summary? Was that it, or is there a little bit more?
That's basically the summary. Yeah.
Okay.
But actually, to come back to the Kingdom Commerce, do you like the idea of the Kingdom Commerce?
It's interesting. It's kind of, when I first heard of it, I thought of it as development, but it's really not. It's more of like a resource you spend to activate your merchant or other things as well. I think, and they say you can get more by building buildings, and what other ways can they get more commerce? I think if you put your merchant in a city, that you can get more development, like commerce out of those areas. It's interesting because I think it will end up limiting. So it limits like small empires to having probably less trade relations, and the bigger you are, I'm gonna assume the more commerce you have, the more trading you can do. Hopefully that doesn't end up being like snowbally. But then again, it might be kind of realistic that as you get bigger, you have more trade relations, and if you're a small country, you should. I think historically, it does make sense that you only trade with like 1 or 2 people, right? If you're a tiny country that nobody cares about. But I don't want it to be snowball either. So hopefully,
So there's something coming up to like the general problem that I have. I'm not sure if I should with the whole trading thing. I'm not sure if I should say it now or if we should just go through the questions.
Let's get right into the questions.
To the questions, and then I'm gonna put my opinion out there.
No! Get your opinion in now. Get your opinion now. It's fresh.
You want to hear it now?
Yeah. Give it to me.
The whole. I think there's some nice features in it, but in general, I don't see the whole point of it. Like for me, Knights of Honor is about conquering, and I don't know how trading commerce helps me in wiping out the whole map, you know. I mean, it's okay. It's nice to get more money. It's nice to do some diplomacy stuff. But in general, I think they didn't mention whether it's possible if you gain a huge market share to buy the country or convince the people to join into your country because you're this economical superpower, whatever. So that's like, so it's like kind of nice to have, but it misses the real point of the game. That's my problem I have with the whole thing.
Okay, I would add that one of the things that they did mention, though, with commerce or with trading relations is that you can use them to you can force a trade agreement, so you can demand a trade agreement, and you can use that as a justification to go to war. So, I mean, that's one mechanic that you can use to kind of conquer. But I see your point, your bigger point, that it's like, if everybody is, if you have this great trade agreement with another country and you're like conquering everybody economically, how does that, is there a way to win economically in a way? Like, can you take over a country, like you said, like just gobble them up through some kind of diplomatic, economic system?
Economical warfare kind of makes sense. But for me, it makes more sense to just weaken your opponent and not to completely get rid of him, because it takes some time. There's a lot of different influences, so it's kind of risky, and you never know how it's gonna end up. And yeah, for me, economical warfare is just something that comes with it, but it's not the focus, especially not in Knights of Honor.
They did mention about the market shares, that you can somehow convince your trade partner to break trading with somebody, say you're at war with, or somebody else.
Kind of like a diplomacy feature then. Yeah.
And it would be almost more interesting, though, I think, if you could somehow do like a trade embargo. So you set up, you say, I don't want anybody trading with this country. And then you have some kind of system where, it shows who's trading and what you need to do, or like through relations with them to convince them to stop trading with that country. And then hopefully that has like a huge effect. Maybe that could not only destroy their economy, but maybe it will, if like say there's a country embargoing you, it destroys your civil population happiness, because now they're not trading with the world. They're unhappy. They don't like the situation. That could be a really, really interesting mechanic, and I think that's something that would fulfill the role that you're kind of asking for, where you want the economy, like it gives you a real tangible way to hurt another country instead of just buffing up your own.
If you want to do so, you definitely have to go for attacking food trades. That's where the army collapses, because you have to upkeep the food supplies for the army. You have to upkeep the food supplies for your population. And if you don't have this, it all turns to shit.
Yeah. So I hope they do introduce some kind of mechanic like that. That'd be really nice. My, of course, big worry if they try to do that is how effective is it? Like, if you get a successful embargo, can the country just survive willy-nilly regardless? Is that possible? So they would have to have some balancing, and that would take some time, I think. So, but I see your point that it's a bit boring to just have commerce only buff your own country and not have it have any roots through trading to say hurt another country. So that's a very, very, very fair point. Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Let's go on to some questions. We don't have. I think we kind of touched on a couple already. So
Beldreth is just saying that he thinks, that he was actually a bit sad about being able to see success chance. Like, I mean, I think he's speaking generally in the game about the success chance with merchants.
I don't know how I feel about that. I'd like seeing my success chances.
You at least has the success chance with spies. That's like how it used to be, even during. But
yeah.
I mean, we talked about it. I feel kind of like the same. 90%. A little bit rest of luck. You always need a little bit of luck. But like we said, it shouldn't get too much. If it's a little bit, it's all right.
I think this goes back to the point I made earlier, which is I think the best event they should have for these merchants is something that is not all like chancy. That's just, you have choices, and the choices are very, very good, but they are very, very different. And I think that would make everybody happy, because then it's interesting, and the events are interesting. You know, a lot of times in Crusader Kings, when the event pops up and it's just a chance thing, I just click a chance, done. You know, it's kind of boring, and you just read the numbers, or you chance it or you don't. And I don't know, that it feels very unidirectional when there's not like real good options that are different.
Real tactics and strategy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about loving a girl, planning to tell her you love her, but you know your chance. There's no excitement. Yeah, I suppose so. But yeah, I guess.
I think that's a good example. I totally get you.
Okay, right, so let's get to the questions. How do mercenaries work?
Pick the first?
Yeah, I want to pick the first one. How do mercenaries work? Do they operate as camps? So what the devs had told us is that these mercenaries basically do operate as camps, like Knights of Honor 1, where you just kind of see them pop up randomly in the map as you're playing. But the way you can get a mercenary through your merchant is if you're, say, I think at war with that country, and I think if you're just trading with them. So if that country, a mercenary camp pops up, I guess your merchant has the ability to maybe hire them. So then when he does that, the merchant camp will go from that country to, it will literally move, apparently on the map, to to the nearest province in your country. So then they will sit themselves down, and I guess at that point then you have to take your marshal, right, and walk out and then buy them maybe a second time, or maybe they're free. I wonder how that works. You want the next question?
I'd like one topic we had earlier, like, do traders appear as caravans? And we got some, like, in general, the idea is trade caravans do appear on a map and can be interacted with, but they are not sure if they want them to be attackable. So this is kind of a back and forth thing, as they told us.
Yeah.
At the current point, you can't attack them, but they had it in the game that at one point you could attack them, and you could defend them with some sort of defending tower, they told us, that
like a building
built within a province, and this protects like all the caravans, as I got it. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I heard as well.
All right.
But in the stream, some I don't know, smart cookie suggested, what about guards? So basically you'd hire a guard for your caravan, and that would give them some kind of military protection. So because as of right now, they mentioned in the stream that the caravans don't have any guards whatsoever, so you could just attack a caravan, there's nothing defending it.
Yeah, I mean, the basic problem is that if you have a merchant trading, he can't lead an army. If he could do both, he could just trade and lead the army simultaneously and have his own guard. That would make it easier.
I don't know if I want them to do that, though. I think it makes sense
it's boring
to separate, to make it so the merchants can't lead armies at the same time, because it would be kind of weird if you just have everybody making money and then have everybody leading armies. I think that would end up just being the kill stack.
In general, I definitely have to check whether I want anybody else than the marshals to lead an army.
Yeah.
If it even makes sense, but we don't know. We have no idea about the clerics at this point.
I would say though, like if you're leading an army and you're not a marshal, I feel like they haven't designed that character type well enough. Like, I feel like it makes sense that marshals lead armies. It makes sense that, say, merchants deal with commerce. If you all of a sudden your merchant started leading armies, it's like, is your merchant doing his job, like filling his role effectively enough? Like, is the dynamics around the merchant interesting enough that you want to give him the ability to lead armies too? I don't know. It seems, yeah. I don't know where I'm going with that, but
no, I know you're not really sure what to expect of it. Like, basically,
yeah. The caravans, though, I think as it stands, I don't know if I want them to have like a defensive guard. I think it makes sense to have them like defenseless, because you move your armies around and stuff, and you could like raid them, and that to me kind of makes sense. To like
sense, but
park your army near a fucking caravan and raid it up.
But I think you would only set up shorter trading routes, so no longer trading routes. They are maybe not that effective. They are more, or it's more risky that they get raided.
Yeah,
and in generally, then they're not sure if they want to have caravans if you're trading with another country.
Yeah, and Belgrove just make a good point. Like, even if they did put up guards on these caravans, like, is that going to even be a really good deterrent to like AI and to, I would argue, well, the point is really to humans, right? Yeah. Obviously, humans are going to build like a death stack. They could just probably wipe any fucking thing. So.
Imagine if you have like a marshal with a whole lot of cavalry and cavalry tactics to bring that in again.
Sure.
And if he raids your trading party, like, you can have 100 guards, but you could have 0. Point would be the same, basically. You get raided and it's done.
Okay, another question. Do your relations lower if you break an agreement? And does your trade route opinion improve as you keep a trading going? The answer on the stream to this was that if you break your agreement, your trade opinion drops, and the longer you trade with somebody, the more trade opinion increases, and that gives you more gold as well. But
that actually was my question, right?
Yeah.
And the interesting part was that Alex leaked some information about the diplomacy system that they're currently working on, and he told us that it won't be this one diplomacy system. Like, if you have good,
it won't be one relation. There's other subcategory Oracle relations. So one would be trade relations. One could be maybe cultural relations. One could be diplomatic relations.
Oh, by the way, we have to go back to the caravans for a second. Baldred is asking if we will be able to control the caravans.
From what I gathered, it didn't seem like it, but it did seem like the caravans are kind of depending on where you govern your merchant. So if you govern your merchant in a certain city, from what I gathered, the caravans will go to and fro that city. So wherever you put your trade next, so say if I was governing in, for example, Milan, and I then sent a trader to trade in England, London, then I suspect the caravan goes from London to Milan, like that. So there, I guess, is some degree of control.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically where they should go trading next, but you're not like able to move them around on a map like the marshals. That's, I'm not really sure about that, but I figured it would be like the same as you said. I think you're not able to really control them like that.
Yeah, I think they just auto find their way there.
Actually, that's a good question.
Which would be somewhat problematic if they can get raided, right? Like, I don't want to keep sending it through an enemy country over and over again if it gets raided, but I can't. There's no other pathfinding that happens. Like, that is a real problem. So
yeah, actually, will you? What happens if you cancel a trade route? I think they didn't talk about that, right?
no, we touched on it. If you cancel a trade route, you just lower some relations and then
Yeah, I mean,
you can set a new one.
with the caravans, like what Beldrith just asked, will the caravan just move back where they came from? Will they move to the next city, or will they move to the
Yeah, that was never touched
the
on, and
same?
I don't think I
Yeah,
could gather any hints either about it. What I
me
suspect at this
neither. Me
present
neither.
moment is that it just disappears off the map. But
Yeah.
it'd be interesting if it came back. But I still don't think that kind of gets you around rating and stuff. Then again, right? Like I don't want it to be such that you can like create crazy designs to like avoid countries that you don't like and avoid all the raids possible. There has to be some degree of like reason here. Like if you're a trader, if you know there's a country that's like evil and it's going to raid your caravan as you trade, say, across Germany, maybe you could take the waterway, you know, but you're probably not going to go all the way around Spain and around Italy to trade with something like in Poland, you know. There has to be some reason, I think, to the control you give human players over how they design the caravan routes.
Oh, it's kind of getting warm under my head. I
Yeah.
think my head is turning red now.
Like a tomato.
Yeah. Trading tomatoes.
Did you have any other questions? I think I'm totaled up here.
Oh, yeah, I have. I don't know who asked it, but it was something about passive trade income.
Yeah, so what I remembered
that there is passive trade income on top of more income.
So yeah, what I remembered from that question was when you put a merchant into a province, they govern that province, and you get a bit more income from that province. Merchants, as you mentioned in the summary, also can trade while they're governing. So the question was, do you get the trade income on top of the governing income, or are they somehow just like one lump sum, or how's that work? And so the answer is kind of obvious. It's no, you get two separate kind of incomes. So the province income you get from governing is added, and then you can send it to trade off to get more money.
Yep.
Okay. Right. I think you took off your hat, so that should be the end of the stream as well.
One thing we should forget about, like this April's Fool kind of thing. Did you remember it? That was funny.
Yeah. What's gonna happen with the April Fools? I hope actually though that they introduce the goat as a diplomatic tool. I would enjoy sending goats to countries to insult them or something.
I think that's gonna be the April Fool's DLC. What he was talking about. Brad wasn't too fond of it releasing this piece of information.
Yeah, I don't think he should have said he would do it for April Fools. I think he should have kept that on the down low.
Yeah.
Beldroff, you gotta not push the game developers. Let them take as long as they want. Let them make a good game. I'm not one to push developers to publish early. I think that just leads to really poor games. I think this whole idea of like alphas and betas is like ruined gaming in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, like think of Knights of Honor, right? Like Knights of Honor the first game came on a CD. Like you could take the CD, put it in your computer, play the game, install it, and you knew it would work. Right? Nowadays, you get a game, you get like early beta, and like I get that beta is supposed to be for like testing, but like it doesn't matter. Everyone gets beta. It's like the drug problem again. Like it's bad for you. It's bad to play a beta because you're gonna get a terrible experience with the game, but you do it anyways, and then everyone hates the game. And then no one wants to buy the game once it like releases and once they patch everything out. And today too, with all the hype that gets on YouTube and stuff and this culture, like all the hype gets thrown really early, especially on betas, and then all that hype fades away when the game is ready to be sold at a good state that's really enjoyable. So imagine if everyone was hyped and playing it when it was a good game, I
mean, if the beta sucks, That's a problem. But from my perspective, if I'm anticipating a game, and I know it's coming on, let's say, the 15th of November, and if I'm able to play a beta in 4 weeks earlier, or 2 weeks earlier,
Yeah.
I get super hyped for it. Like, I want to get into it. I want to see the gameplay. I want to get the feeling off of it.
But it's gonna ruin the real game for you though, because then you're gonna play it, you're gonna feel all the bugs, and then you're gonna be like, I don't want to play this anymore, and then
I don't know. I think I'm kind of a marketing victim here.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I am too, right? Like, we're all victims to the machine. Okay, I think we call it a day. We call it a stream. Thanks for showing up, everybody, and people who are gonna watch this later at a later time. See you at the next DevDiary. I think they said in 4 weeks we'll get another one. We might have more content for you guys sooner, but we'll see about that.
Oh yeah, we're planning out something, but we're gonna keep you posted.
Yeah.
It was good reading you. Take care, man.
Let the sun always shine on all of you, and see you guys the next time.
Yeah, have a good one, and for sure, let the sun always shine on you.
Bye.
Bye.